let's reintroduce myself in case people are just coming into stream, right? My name is Brittany Simon. We do philosophy through pop culture, and we're talking about Hasan Piker, who is a streamer. He's known for being the largest left creator in the political bubble that talks about politics through a progressive lens. That's Hasan Piker. That's the best way to understand who he is, right? He gets a lot of criticism. People on the liberal/right side really hate him. There's a lot of misinformation spread about Hasan. People really deliberately misunderstand him a lot of the time. And he, in many ways, deserves his flowers. And while I'm handing him those flowers, I will also hand him my business card with all my complaints, because this is a progressive, philosophical stream. My work is about who are we outside of politics? Because though under systems we are all politically impacted, you are more than politics. You're a human being. You're a creation, right? Someone created you. Your mother, not God. Your parents, biologically. That sounded so Christian. You are a creation. No, okay. So you are created, and that needs to be the foundation of our understanding of self. We are animals on a planet evolved over billions of years, and here we are. Okay, so what does that mean to exist on a planet in which we're having a biological experience that we should have a deeper relationship with? It means utilizing the tools that we've been giving each other, standing on the shoulders of giants, and doing what is needed to further people forward. All of us are susceptible to becoming conservative because conservatism is a form of stagnation. Okay? This is Hasan Piker, to give you context of a recent clip, from a recent stream he did. This is from his page, Hasanabi. Okay, this is Hasan.
Off leash walking. She can lay down. She can roll over. Let's see if I can make her roll
dog.
over right now. Hold on.
Let's see it.
Look at Kaya.
Come here. Good girl.
Sweet
Okay,
girl. He's a
girl.
dad, a dog dad.
Down.
Okay, he's got cute doggo.
Good girl. Roll over.
Aww.
Roll over. Yeah. Good job.
What
okay.
a sweetie.
But
how you doing?
She got a bunch of different. I'm doing great. I'm having a little bit of a crazy week.
Why? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How do you manage? How do you in therapy?
No, I'm not.
Come on, go to therapy.
I know everyone always
This
tells
doesn't
me.
count as fucking therapy over here.
No, this is what I do. I use my audience as therapy.
This is, I imagine when I see these streams on Twitch, it's how I imagine in schizophrenia it works in your brain. Just constant thoughts.
Yeah.
You've never been to therapy?
No, I've not.
Oh.
I've done talked to a psychologist before, but I've never I haven't been consistently going to therapy.
Sure. I think it'd be fair if you did shock therapy.
I mean, I did get a call from the Department of Homeland Security. They were like, we want to bring you in as the deputy director to Kristi Noem. Turns out the qualification was that if you are, even if you're suspected of abusing dogs, they're like, that's good enough for us.
He's making a joke because his haters on the internet claim that he zapped his dog. And I also reviewed that. And again, I am reviewing Hasan Piker from an observation perspective. I am not trying to in any way become a part of this bubble. I am very much happy sticking in my little bubble on the internet. But yes, chat says, is he purposely avoiding growth? Do not understand. Yes. Which is very typical for men under patriarchy, white men under patriarchy and white supremacy. And ultimately, though Hasan is Turkish, okay, I'm Assyrian, right? We're the same, okay? I see this chatter trying to troll in chat, right? I'm an Assyrian. He is Turkish. We are the same kind of white. And I think because I was assigned female at birth, because I experienced the world as a queer person, because I'm on a gender deconstruction journey, I have just a different view of the world than somebody who is typically considered handsome, typically exists in the world at his status and in the way he is just in a perfect position of power, right? I make less than 6 figures. He makes millions of dollars. We're not in the same bubble. I do philosophy. He does politics, right? I'm a woman. I'm autistic. He's, let's be real, probably autistic, based off his own experience. We're both neurodivergent. There's a lot of overlap. But because he's a white cis man who won't go to therapy, and I'm a queer person who's gone to therapy and does philosophical work, it means our perspectives are literally different. So the title of this is Hasan is the Beyonce of the left. And I want to wrap this into Bell Hooks' criticism of Beyonce as a brand, because, when we think about Beyonce, we think about, we think about how amazing she is, really. We think about how successful she is, how, this video from the NFL got 207 million views, and that was because she did the halftime show, right? We think about how powerful of a person she is. She's an artist and a creative and so many amazing things. And yet, there is so much criticism to have about Beyonce, her connection to capitalism, her people recently praising her for being a billionaire. And I think it's the same thing where we would love to root for Beyonce, but everything she continues to do while utilizing the imagery of the oppressed, but not investing in the same way that communities had hoped, feels a little bit Hassan adjacent. We're like, it's not that Hassan is a bad person, though that's up for debate because who knows what that means, or that Beyonce's a bad woman, not that, whatever that means, a bad person. What it means is, given your positions of power and privilege, it's interesting that you didn't do X, Y, and Z, because all of us keep thinking, man, if I had that, this is what I would do. But we don't have that. And often minorities who are making far less money with far less status are taking far more risks. And I know Hassan and Beyonce both take their own level of risk in industries that are ruthless. And yet they are still not taking as much risk as other people because other people, don't have the financial backing nor the community or the ability to disappear without being, without losing their livelihood the same way these people do. So the risk here is life and death for some people. Well, for them, it's only life and death if somebody pulls a Charlie Kirk. It's not life and death if they speak up and say the truth. It's not life and death if they're not a part of the status quo. It's not life and death. Well, as far as we know, it's not life and death if they disappear from the world and quit their jobs. But for the rest of us that are protesting, it is. It is our life and death, right? Okay, so this man cannot be the answer to liberation. He cannot be the person leading the march, right? It can't be him. It can't be. It doesn't make sense. It can't be him. You know what I mean? I'm happy he's having fun and posing in GQ and doing all these great things, right? But I don't think he is the Malcolm X. I don't think he is the leader. I don't think he's the bell hooks. I don't think he is that person. And not that those people don't have flaws. We all have flaws, right? But it's the idea that, I don't think a white man who won't go to therapy is the answer. And I feel like women of color, queer people have been screaming this for years, and he is still so specifically perfectly aligned with the standard quo. Even though he says he's not, because he's this quote socialist, he is everything that works for white America. He's just a little lefty. But he's still aspirational under capitalism. He's still aspirational in terms of his body. He's still aspirational in terms of his ability to get girls, right? He's still aspirational. Everything about him is typically aspirational, right? So that's okay. That's fine. Everyone has a role to play. But that's where the criticism comes from. Is this the person who's going to be the guy, or are we just doing it again? Putting up the most digestible white man to kind of make people feel comfortable. So let's move this into the conversation about Gavin Newsom that happened yesterday, right? Because I am anti-Gavin Newsom. Didn't like Gavin Newsom 20 years ago. Don't like him now. Okay. Philip DeFranco covered the clip. Let's talk about it. And I also have a lot of criticism for who he has around him. I have a lot of criticism because in his position of power, you would think he would do things a little differently. It's just interesting that other people are held to higher standards. In the same way we shouldn't hold Hassan to a higher standard than Trump, you can't hold smaller streamers to the same standard of Hassan, but everyone should be held to a standard. So look at this clip. He is reacting to Philip DeFranco reacting to him, but pay attention to what his friends Austin and Jennifer, I think her name is, listen to what they say here.
Say that Gavin Newsom becomes the nominee, that we make it midterms.
Devastating.
Do you vote for him over JD Vance?
I don't know.
I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Me too.
100%.
I wouldn't blink. What about you?
Okay. For the record, I never said this. I would never say, oh yeah, I'm voting for Gavin Newsom. I don't know what I'm going to do. Future Brittany can decide, but I don't like Gavin Newsom. And yet people on my stream, just because I talked about their fave, this connects to Beyonce, just because we're criticizing Beyonce doesn't mean we don't love her. Just because we're criticizing Hassan doesn't mean we don't like him. But at the end of the day, right, you're the ones bragging about voting for Gavin when I didn't say that. Hasan, I was imploring to be more wise in when he plays these hypothetical, what are you going to do games, right? Because he's not saying it with his full chest. He's saying it reluctantly. He's not saying this is what we're going to do. He's not, you know, and in his position, I think he should, if he wants to be the largest speaker, the biggest microphone, just say it with your full chest. Fuck Gavin Newsom, fuck the Democrats, make a decision. Now, you might say, Brittany, he always does this. Yes, but this is the clip that went viral. This is the one that people saw, right? Now, chat says, Britt, have you seen the Cavernacle videos? I did watch it, and I don't disagree with Cavernacle. I'm going to talk about that as well, because people in my chat were like, Brittany, did you watch Cavernacle's video? Yes, I agreed with Cavernacle's video. I'm going to show you a clip from Cavernacle's video. Cavernacle, though, is coming from a progressive political perspective. Cavernacle, if I'm going to be honest with you, I take much more seriously than Hasan. Because Cavernacle, though not American, I feel his work embodies his belief. I'm not going to speak for him perfectly. I don't know everything, but I watch him pretty frequently. I only watch Hasan when I have to catch up on stuff because I think his opinion is tainted by his ability to work so perfectly within white supremacy and capitalism. Cavernacle makes $40,000 a year, according to the last video he made on it. That is very different than Hasan Piker, who's worth millions. Okay? The perspectives are different. I know Cav spends a lot of time doing a lot of work for communities with his girlfriend. I know he does that, which is great. But we're coming from different perspectives. The perspective changes how we show up in our communities. Our compassion is different. Our empathy is different. Hasan is very popular. And you can't act like money doesn't change people or popularity doesn't change people. I'll show you at the very end exactly what I'm talking about when I say what is his embodied beliefs around overconsumption or anything else. Okay? What does that mean? And again, I don't know if chat's being sarcastic. Socialism is when no money. You can be very wealthy and be a socialist. It's not about Hasan being a socialist who's wealthy. It's about his choice in how he shops, how he exists, how he shows up. That plays right into capitalism, overconsumption, bad for the planet, bad for the environment, bad for everyone's self-esteem, and then calls himself an anti-capitalist and calls himself a socialist. I'll get into it. Just like Beyonce talks about liberation for Black people, but plays right into Black capitalism, right? Which FD Signifier has better content on than I would ever be able to produce, right? Beyonce says she wants liberation for women, stays with Jay-Z, active abuser, right? Cheater, right? We've all been through that. Okay, Beyonce sends a message about liberation for women, empowerment, but then what happens here? Where is walking the walk? When's that going to come in, right? Okay.
You, Hasan.
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter. Like, because my policy on this is the same as like my refusal to endorse Kamala Harris. The reason why I did not endorse Kamala Harris,
which I supported his decision to do that, just like I supported Palestinian and Arab communities not voting for Kamala Harris because I understood their perspective was coming from a liberated and justified place versus a centrist who's like, I just don't care about politics. I just don't care about politics, and I'm not going to vote for Kamala Harris. I'm going to vote third party. That's not. I really supported the Arab communities for doing this because I understood why they did it. I supported Hasan's decision not to endorse Kamala Harris. I did support that decision because I understood it. I understood where he was coming from, right? So I'm not, you guys know, my audience knows, I'm not just some random Hasan hater. I am saying, okay, my expectation for somebody in this position is this. If his goal is this,
was because she did things that were not only unproductive, but also unconscionable.
And that, it prompted a ton of outrage and a lot of, are you kidding me? With a lot of people think that Hasan shouldn't be encouraging third-party votes to his massive following, and some saying things like, insanely irresponsible take, given the harm this administration has unleashed just 1 year in. As well as, can we move on from these left-wing creators that...
Yeah, Hillary Clinton's staff.
And I do not believe, because I shared that TikTok at the beginning of my stream yesterday, just because it was the first one I saw, but I don't agree with him that Hasan is only making the most money when Republicans are in power. Like, I don't think Hasan is, excited Republicans are in power. But as an Assyrian girly who sees a lot of men in my community like Hasan feels exactly like that trope in the story of the fat kid who got handsome, which, I would have loved him both ways, who rose to prominence, who was able to shake hands, he's able to network, he's able to be with all of these people that are not great, but it's okay when he does it, but it's bad when we do it. Okay? He can do it because, oh, he's showing up correctly. We can't do it because it's not showing up correct. He gets to do it because he's a man and he knows what he's doing. Okay? He's the only one who can do it. He's the savior. I know this trope in a man. They rise to power and prominence, continue to use misogyny in their content, continue to double down on misogynistic takes, okay? And they get a pass because they're doing the Lord's work, right? Kind of coincided with what we talked about earlier in stream. Are we going to give a pass to certain people because, and I don't know, I don't think that's the future. I don't think the future is about giving passes to people. The future is doing the right thing.
Once again, that openly said he didn't vote for Zohran Mamdani.
Have built a business on just hating Democrats. It helps nobody but themselves. You also had tons of people accusing Hasan of being a grifter, arguing that he, quote, wants Republicans in office because he gets to cosplay a revolutionary, which raises his profile and makes him more money. And then separately from takes on his...
Yeah, I don't think this is true. I don't think he's cosplaying a revolutionary, but I also don't think he is one. So just for the record, I do not think he is maliciously trying to be someone he isn't, but I think he doesn't have the humility to realize he isn't. Does that make sense?
You had some pushing back on criticisms of Gavin Newsom. You're saying I live in California, my gay friends have basic rights, my girlfriend can access reproductive care, and we've raised the minimum.
Of course, Philip is going to cook me on this because he is, you know, when the cards fall, he will be he will be a professional misunderstander as well. Once again, Philip, I mean, we talk all the time privately. I like Philip DeFranco. I'd love to have this conversation with you. I think it would be a productive conversation.
Wage for service workers. Spare me the disingenuous bullshit. But then as far as Hasan, he's defended himself in a series of posts saying, do you want free healthcare? Do you want free college? Do you want to stop Israel? I'll vote for anyone who sincerely believes in making that happen. Adding, I never said JD Vance is better than Newsom. You want to believe I said that because you can't comprehend a world where democracy implies asking for concessions from your election.
Right. So just for the record, nothing I said on stream, we were not taking that position yesterday. So I agree with Hasan here. I didn't, like, my criticism is coming from left of Hasan. I personally, Hasan is too conservative for me. I am too queer philosophically to not see Hasan as a conservative. And I know that might sound strange to people who are not in my audience, but it's so obvious to me personally where I am in my life that for me, Hasan feels conservative. That's where the criticism from me is coming from, but not for Hasan's sake or his audiences. For the people in his audience who, one, are definitely feeling the same thing, because I've had a lot of women recently join my audience saying, oh my God, Brittany, finally, I've been waiting for this. I've been feeling this. I didn't know what I was missing. Well, welcome, girlies. Welcome to the community, okay? Because I think that's important. Remember, Hasan's friends are the ones sitting there. Austin is the one sitting there. Oh, I'm going to vote for Gavin Newsom. I'm not saying that. He is. But then people, my audience, were like, oh, Brittany's a centrist. Brittany's a Hasan hater. I'm not the one saying I'd vote for Gavin Newsom because I know what a piece of shit he is. So it's kind of interesting. The flack against me isn't for the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just interesting.
The representatives before doing loyalty pledges to them like a happy serf. Hasan then saying, libs who don't care about losing to Trump now want you to obey in advance to their hypothetical establishment candidate while there isn't even a guarantee there will be an election 2 years from now. Using marginalized people as a cudgel as Gavin threw trans people under the bus. And while he had his supporters, you also had a number of people pushing back at that response, saying things like, no one is asking anyone to obey in advance, so please come
like John Fetterman staffer, who only recently left John Fetterman.
Down off the cross. Your fellow panelists recognize the material difference for marginalized communities between a hypothetical Democrat and Republican administration. You repeatedly use your large audience to flatten the difference, and it's abject nonsense. And some others also taking issue with how he framed Newsom's stance on trans rights. With one person saying, actual trans person here, Gavin Newsom made a comment about trans athletes that I don't agree with, but California is still one of the best places to be trans in the country. See the difference? You don't care about what happens to us, so stop acting like you speak for us. And with all this, you actually had Jennifer Welch ending on
anyone who's willing to concede with Republicans and conservatives is absolutely not an ally for the future or progressive in nature or even going to end up that way in the future.
Posting a video in his defense claiming
what Hasan is saying is we need to build a party that has an FDR style impact that really, really impacts the lives of people instead of this slow moving incremental change that the current Democratic Party always proposes. Number one, Hasan's not a politician. Number two, Hasan gets to think whatever he thinks. Number three, there is a large.
Okay. Does Hasan get to think whatever he thinks? Is his position in this space, is he actually allowed that freedom? I would say no. I would say Hasan isn't allowed in his position to actually think what he wants to think in the same way a school principal isn't, in the same way a teacher isn't, in the same way someone in a position of power isn't. You don't get to come to class and share with your students what you did on the weekend and who you fucked, okay? You don't get to share. Like, You don't get to just say what's on the top of your mind if you have the largest microphone in a political setting where people's literal lives are on the line. If you understand how important things are right now, then why would you utilize your time in this position this way? And I was trying to think of a good way to phrase it. And I know it sounds bad, but I'm trying to think of like, it's like as if a student, a young person came to the teacher and said, you know, is there hope for the future? And the teacher was like, hey, yeah, but if not, I'll just do meth. And all the kid hears is like, the adult in my life isn't serious. The adult in my life is like, is this a joke? Like the adult in my life is giving up. The adult in my life is like, hey, dude, I'm just like a teacher, bro. Like, I'm just like a guy who went to college and is teaching you brats. Like, I'm just a guy with a microphone. That's what they keep trying to do. Hasan, Charlie Kirk, none of these people get to be streamers. You don't get to be just a streamer at this point. So make a decision. Make a decision. And that's the problem. They are not holding themselves up to that standard. Because again, and listen, I have 200 people watching me. Hasan has sometimes 30, 40, 70, 100,000 people watching him. He's in the news. Politicians mention his name. He's not just somebody, okay? I am more of a just somebody, and I hold myself to a higher standard because I'm an adult. So I'm saying, when is Hasan going to hold himself to that standard instead of just like, quote, having fun, okay? And that kind of plays into that clip I showed you here. Okay, I showed this yesterday on stream.
Running in elections?
No.
Have you thought of running in elections?
No.
Well, why not?
Because
look, it's a horrible thing to do. I've done it. I can confirm that it sucks.
Yeah.
Big time. But it does the job. Someone's going to do it.
I know, but
these people have to vote for someone.
Well, I have my people.
P.S. I'm not saying Hasan should run for office. I'm not saying that. I'm using this as an example to say I'm not the only one looking at Hasan. So like, hey, are you going to do something else? Or you're just having fun, right? Because the truth about streaming, the truth about this job is it's a very weirdly privileged position to be in. Like, in a sense that no one's really relying on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hasan could disappear tomorrow and nothing would change. Hasan thinks something would change. Maybe the audience thinks something would change, but it wouldn't. Because at the end of the day, there are 100 other streamers that could replace him. Nothing he is doing is the way he thinks is as important as they think it is, but he could be. The question is, do you want to be? And it sounds like no, he doesn't want it to be. Versus the reason we talk about the greats, the reason we talk about people who made a difference is because they were not only locked the fuck in, and even if they were problematic, they were seriously having conversations, which is why on this channel, we review a lot of old TV from a lot of old thinkers, because it's very important, right? Chad says, comparing Hasan to a teacher is weird. Teachers work with children. Hasan does not. College professors then. He's a college professor. And his student just came to him and said, hey, you have a master's in economics. Can you tell me about statistics? And he said, nah, dude, the numbers on a page are a construct created from the magical brain of billionaires. Nah, bro, I don't know about that. I'm just a philosophy professor. Okay?
That's why I'm.
Okay, you have your people, but not everywhere.
That's true.
And why should these people have their lives destroyed by being elected and not yours?
Well, it's not even about like my life being destroyed necessarily, because my life gets destroyed all the time doing what I'm doing.
Yes, but in the same way that your life is getting destroyed, yes, that is two things can be true at once. But there is something here that is obvious. You're still just an online streamer. You know what I mean? Hasan specifically says he targets young and teenage men to try and stop them from going down the alt-right pipeline. Well, that's the other thing about Hasan. He won't stick in his lane. Which one are you doing, Hasan? Are you trying to help young men? Are you trying to move the progressive people forward? Are you trying to only advocate for good politicians? Are you only hanging out with good people? What are you doing here? That's the thing. I'm not saying Hasan has to know. I'm saying, does the audience realize he doesn't know? Hasan has no idea why he is there. And that's okay. As long as you understand that. But that's the thing, you don't. Because you keep waiting, we keep waiting for people to eventually make enough money where they can do XYZ, or do enough things where they could do the next step, or actually get to the next. That's what I'm talking about, which is why when Beyonce came into the picture, there was this feeling of her using Black Panther imagery and thinking, oh my God, this feels like it's it. And then nothing. Nothing happened. All of that imagery, all of those albums, all of that amazing music, all of that inspiration, and nothing. What just happened? And now the latest news is, oh my God, Beyonce, guys, she's a billionaire.
From Crazy in Love to Cowboy Carter, Beyonce is now in formation. She's officially a billionaire, according to Forbes, and she did it irreplaceably on her own terms. Her fans were drunk in love when she was on the road, shelling out more than $400 million in ticket sales to make it the world's highest grossing tour, and her music and sponsorships keeping the money flowing by taking control of her career and choosing to upgrade you from traditional management. Beyonce proves that owning your halo can help a diva build a lasting empire and maybe even run the world. I had to. Look, as the queen.
How lean-in leftist, or how lean-in liberal capitalist is this?
Says the best revenge is what? Your paper. And she did that. And as did you, Emily Borsch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We think.
Okay. And I'm saying that's what Hassan feels like when I watch him. And I understand that you guys are like, how? And I'm like, very easily. Hassan feels the same way, where I can have fun watching him, but he, you know, at the end of the day, he's still just some white man who hasn't gone to therapy. He's literally just still a dude, bro, who hasn't gone to therapy. That's what he is. He's a dude, bro, who has not gone to therapy. Okay? Oops.
Growing number of Americans in Gen Z and as millennials that have felt completely unseen and left behind by the two-party political system, who hate and despise how much they suck up to corporations. We have time right now to have these conversations and to move our politicians to a progressive populist platform.
With Welch even going so far as to say one of the reasons the Democrats lose is because they do not listen to voices like Hassan Piker. So it's also worth noting that during the podcast, Hassan did preempt any potential backlash, claiming that Democrats might lose solely because of him.
I am incapable. There is no singular force in this country that is capable of making or breaking an election. And if that was real, then it is the most idiotic thing not to listen to my demands. But everybody knows that that's not real, right?
Okay. I would love it if Hassan really made any demands. I really want to support him. I really want to get behind some voice that goes, they're making no concessions. But every time he says, I'll debate Asman, every time he says, I was just about to debate Charlie Kirk, oh, so you can make concessions. You can shake hands with the worst people on the planet. Oh, I got it. So when Gavin Newsom has Charlie Kirk on the podcast, he's evil. But when you debate Charlie Kirk, oh, now it's different. Got it. This is why I say conservative. This is why I say like, you get to do it, but other people can't do it. Because Hassan is this great, amazing, like, come on, guys. Come on.
You know, with all that said, I would really love to know your thoughts here. Obviously, with any election, whether it be local or national, I think you should weigh the difference between the two people.
I think he did a decent job of showing both sides.
Ideally, I'd love a ranked choice system that brings in more voices, different voices, but that's a whole other video. And then I'm going to vote for the best or least worst of the two top options. That's why I voted for Kamala Harris. Does she represent everything I want in the country? No. But to think or argue that a government and a country led by her versus Donald Trump would be the exact same thing with the exact same things happening, no. But I hope most of us can agree when we look at this last year that this seems to be the way worse option. And I know, this part is separate from the clips that we talked about on today's show, but it is an argument that I've seen just playing out in public. But I also think we need to hash out these disagreements very early on. We handle business disagreements, all the messiness in the primaries, and then when it's one versus one, picking the best and or least worst option. And it's more important than ever if you are in a battleground state, though it really...
Okay, they're not even talking about that stuff yet. But I'm not saying that Kamala Harris would be identical to Donald Trump. And there are certain areas where the Democrats would definitely be identical to Trump. It's, Israel being one of them, or at least they don't shy away from communicating that they would be the same, right? That's what Kamala Harris did. But once again, someone made a comment that Gavin would come on the show if you said you were a conservative law. Exactly. Yeah, that's my real grift is
Chat is saying Brittany Gavin is pulling around with Charlie, not even near debate. And then you said Newsom wouldn't even push back against Kirk. That's why it's different. I know, Habibis, I know. I've been accused of the same thing. Collabing with people to hear their opinions and being like, oh, Brittany doesn't push back. Okay, let me push back now against Hassan Piker instead of pretending like nothing's wrong. You want Hasan to be the exception. And I'm saying, to me, there's pushback that needs to be had. And if I sit there and do a collab with Hasan and don't push back, I have failed my community the way Gavin Newsom failed the Democrats by not pushing it back against Charlie. That's what I'm saying you need to lock in on. Hasan also needs pushback. And you guys keep forgetting to push back. That's all I'm saying.
I'm positioning myself as anti-Gavin Newsom and a conservative MAGA guy so that Gavin Newsom comes on the show so I can grill him on some of his positions. But I do think that we should be having these conversations. Especially now, far away from the actual election, okay? We should be having these conversations far away from the actual election so that we can nip this in the bud. You understand?
A few moments later.
Philly Decentrist audience is on your side between you and Gavin? Hell yes. Oh my God. Even if Philip DeFranco's audience is on my side, I'm telling you, man, even the libs on the internet, self-IDing libs, lifelong Democratic Party voters are like, Gavin Newsom. Yes. Yes. That's why all the chirping from these Twitter centrist libs are irrelevant. That's why
they are irrelevant. They are irrelevant. Don't pay attention to them. Now, let me just throw a little criticism for Jen and everybody else. So Jen goes on and makes an updated video to you about Hasan. And this is what she says in this section here.
Gavin Newsom has proven that he doesn't care about trans people.
Then why did you so confidently say you would vote for him?
Gavin Newsom has proven that he doesn't care about the illegal nature of what ICE is doing.
Then why did you so confidently say you would vote for him? Right? I know she explains. I know, chat. I know she thinks it's good enough. And I'm saying I would really like someone to come out with their full chest and say, enough. Give us somebody worth voting for, or we protest. Here's a candidate we're backing. Do it, or we're serious. Right? And I'm saying no one is doing that. Hasan going, oh, I don't know. I think I would probably vote third party. It's not the same thing as somebody saying, everybody lock in. Here's what we're doing. I'm leading the charge. Because he doesn't want the responsibility of looking stupid when it doesn't work. That's what it is. Then lead the charge. Say it. Bring the community together. Say, fuck the Democrats. They're not doing enough. Let's get a candidate out here who 100% says with their full chest, fuck Israel. Fuck Zionism, fuck bullshit, free Palestine, fuck ICE, fuck Trump, fuck this administration. Like, I want someone to come out and say none of this and then rally the community in a direction, and I'll vote for that person. Who is it? Who is the person we're 100% getting behind, and I will fucking, third party or not, I will fucking vote for them. But you're not doing that because they probably aren't even born yet. That person that would make us feel that way is probably not even alive yet. So don't tell me we're not being serious about what we expect. You're the people with the microphone. You guys are rich. You're the ones with status. We're just the young peons. Look at me with my 200 viewers. I have nothing. I'm saying, tell me what to do. What is it? Go ahead. Oh, you can't. Again, it's a denial of responsibility. Fine. Watch this whole stream and I'll tell you by the end of this, you will understand even more so why I think ultimately he's a conservative. And I don't mean conservative like Republican. I don't mean conservative like liberal. I mean, if progressives could be conservative, they would be Hasan. Does that make sense? I'm left, whatever left is. I want to be more left. It's not left enough for me. If Hasan is left, I got to be left, more left. It's not enough. That's why I say queer philosophy, queer leftism, far more left.
When he platformed Ben Shapiro. And so to put the burden of this on Hasan, who's saying, I'm not going to settle for a fascist collaborator who always is reaching to
But you look disappointed. The thing about Jen is she looked disappointed. Really, Hasan? You'd vote third party? But then the next day she's coming out in defense of Hasan because now, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, what is your principled stance? What is your principled stance, girly girls? Because I try to watch their show, but I can't. It just feels so unserious. They have their nicknames for everybody, the humor. I really try to watch it because I want to watch women in politics, but it's so unserious. Like, you're not even being serious. And I mean that really compassionately. I want serious commentary about the state of the world. The world is so serious. Where is it? You know?
Platform fascists and to find common ground with them. It's just intellectually dishonest because Hasan has a record of standing up for trans people. And when Gavin Newsom did that with Charlie Kirk, that pain was felt through the trans community.
Okay, well, as a queer person, collabing with Charlie Kirk feels the same. Don't do it. I don't like it. I don't even want to see you in the same goddamn room as him. I don't want to see you collab with Asmongold. I don't want to see you collabing with these losers. I don't want you to talk to them. If we're not building bridges with them, don't talk to them. If everything they stand for at this point in history, if they're going to go in this direction, I don't want to see it. There is no bridge to be built here. I have nothing in common with MAGA. There are no bridges to be built. Okay?
Far and wide. And Pete Buttigieg did the same. And Rahm Emanuel came on my podcast and did the same.
Okay, that's it for that. Now, let me show you. Okay, so then we skip to this section here where someone said, hey, Bray, have you seen Cavernacle's take on this? I thought it was interesting. I said, not yet, I'll check it out. And then I said, hey, just finished the video. This person says, I tended to agree with him more than Brittany on this, honestly. We agreed. I agreed with Cavernacle. So you being like, I agreed with him more than Brittany, we weren't talking about the same thing. Cavernacle is talking about shoes and I'm talking about dresses. Yeah, they're both fashion items on a person. We're talking about different topics that overlap. I agreed with Cavernacle, okay? From a political perspective. And then Chad says, I agree with Brittany on Hasan's responsibility to build his platform wisely, but I don't think this was an example of him using it unwisely. Well, if I haven't proved my point yet, stay put, okay? Here is irrelevant. I collabed with this guy in the way past because when I was in the Destiny bubble, which Hasan has been into, and I don't want to hear any fucking criticism about my time there, because I swear to God, Hasan gets to collab with the worst people on the internet continuously. And God forbid somebody find themselves there for a single year. Okay, I collabed with Irrelevant, and I know exactly where he stands. He is a Destiny glazer. He is not the greatest person. And this point is not my point. That's what I'm trying to say. I know this bubble. I know these people. I know I'm not them. I know because when I was there, it was obvious I was a visitor. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what you guys are doing. Okay? This is not what I'm saying.
Like showed a direct opposition to Donald Trump kind of playing his game, kind of getting his elbows dirty.
Hasan Piker, who is the world's oldest angry teenager, just said that if this was the choice in 2028, he would vote third party.
I am not saying this. Nothing I am saying has anything to do with these fucking centrist liberal views.
So you're telling me 1 year after the second Trump term, where we've seen Americans profiled, detained, and killed by ICE, the freeze on foreign aid, deep cuts to health programs and SNAP, the withdrawal from climate agreements, the gutted environmental protections, American farmers being forced to compete with foreign producers, the January 6th party, the regime change in Venezuela, the Doge failure, the tariff circus, the rising cost of...
Okay, this is Cavernacle's video. I am not saying any of this. Nothing about my work has anything to do with these people. Okay? In the same way, when Bell Hooks criticizes Beyonce and says there's something terrorist about her work, she is not saying what MAGA says when they talk about Beyonce because they're racist. We are not in the same bubbles, just for context.
My concern, though, is that whole idea, again, when we think about containment, that we say, oh, but this person who is doing major harm, let's say, because I see a part of Beyonce that is in fact anti-feminist, that is assaulting, that is a terrorist, in the sense of, especially in terms of the impact on young girls.
Okay, now my community already went into detail about this video. We dissected it. We understand where Bell Hooks is coming from. Now you need to understand where I'm coming from. Because when you criticize Hasan or when you see me criticizing Hasan, you see some version of me that doesn't exist. And this is why marginalized voices get ignored. Because you're not taking the time to understand them. Okay? You're not actually listening. You just think anyone who criticizes your favorite must be in this group. You can't criticize Beyonce, the Beehive will come for you. You can't criticize Hasan, his fans will come for you. And I'm saying this is why the world is a reflection of itself as a whole. We are all a reflection of the world as a whole. The world is full of deeply flawed people. We are the problem as a species. We are an animal species evolved over billions of years, and we are deeply flawed. Okay. Again, as an animal species, we fuck our own, we kill people, we literally genocide. We literally genocide one day and buy stuff from Amazon the next. We literally are so deeply flawed. When you go home, when you're done protesting and you go home, you still have to deal with your uncle who's a pedophile at the table. You still need to deal with the fact that your father beat your mom. You still have to deal with the fact that there's no fucking food on the table because no one worked today. You still have to deal with the fact that there's shit going on in our families. People are mentally ill. People are struggling. And then you want to talk about who's more responsible? All of us as a collective are responsible to heal our wounds and go get help and to show up in the world through a deconstructed lens to continue to grow as a species and as people. Okay, we have to heal our families by encouraging growth, not by ignoring the bad they do because, oh, look at all the good they do though, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to say all of the things you do, and I know this sounds exhausting because you're like, well, when does it end? It doesn't. Growth doesn't end. And all I'm saying is you keep playing this game. Yesterday in chat, somebody said Hasan is our only hope. Hasan Piker, our only hope? Our only hope for what? Once again, America's so good at making white men the savior. Really? Hasan Piker? Okay, back to Cavernacle.
To groceries, the mid-decade state gerrymandering push, and there's a lot more. But you're telling me that after all that, you're willing to risk more of the same. So why is Hasan so willing to let this continue? It's really simple. He profits off Republican chaos because he understands better than most of his comrades the difference between when Republicans are in power.
I don't believe this. This is bullshit. This is
and
stupid.
when Democrats are in power.
This
It's
is
clear
dumb.
that he's just here for the engagement. He's only interested in monetizing the anger that Republicans generate when they're in power while being a whole-ass millionaire Nepo baby cosplaying as a revolutionary.
And this is so...
I do think he is, again, I don't agree with this. And again, like I'll repeat it. I don't think he's maliciously cosplaying as a revolutionary, but he isn't one. He isn't one. And I'm waiting to see if he understands that and his audience understands it, right? Okay.
It's funny that they're dying on the hill like of Gavin Newsom. So Gavin Newsom, like I said, after the election, he starts blaming trans people. He starts a podcast where he platforms Jeffrey Epstein's best friend and fascist, Steve Bannon. He gets on Charlie Kirk. He gets on Ben Shapiro, where they both agree about Gaza, and he backs down on ICE.
And your press office tweeted out that it was state-sponsored terrorism, which, I mean, Governor Rice has to ask you about that. That sort of thing makes our politics worse. Yeah. And it does. I mean, our ICE officers obviously are not terrorists. A tragic situation is not state-sponsored terrorism.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Last night, trying to put my son to bed, he's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie gonna be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is,
you canceled school for like 2 years. Once one day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
When you go to these college campuses, I love watching your TikTok, which is
Okay, do you get it? He's trash. Why is he talking so fast? I put it on 1.2 because we're neurodivergent here and I don't like to listen to anything if it's not 1.2. Okay, so do you understand? Gavin Newsom is trash. He's been trash since the day I met him all those years ago. He's trash. We don't like Gavin Newsom. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the people the Democrats are giving. I'm sick of the way the Democrats have been doing everything. I am not a person who's pro-Democrat no matter what. I'm not Jen. I'm not Austin, who says Democrats no matter what. I'm not one of those people. So it's interesting that the same people who had the audacity to say that with their full chest also had the audacity not to take the criticism thrown at them from people that were like, the fuck? Me. Or other people who are like, why would you do this with your full chest? And again, it's because at the end of the day, these people are having fun and they're helping their communities. Two things can be true at once. They are out there protesting. They are raising money. They are encouraging people to vote. They are doing a lot of really good things. And they're doing a lot of harmful things because we are not perfect people. Okay? At the end of the day, they're having fun. And I'm going to show you in a second why I think that.
Anyway, I mean,
come on.
No, I'm able to.
You're having fun here.
No, I know, but I'm able to overcome it regardless because I have like built this resilient base of support and I have ways of working around it. But my point is there's a finite amount of time and energy and effort that I can spend on this. And I feel like this is how I can maximize my output.
Sure.
And I'm not saying Hasan should run for office. I am not saying that. I'm saying, though, he is having fun.
Agitative propaganda, I think, and also creating a community that is then going out and participating in their own local elections, as many people in my community have already, to success.
At some point, you have to go to graduate to the level where you take their voice and you put it into some kind of Congress, maybe a state one, maybe a federal one.
I don't know. I know a guy.
Get ready.
I know a guy.
Just say, I can't do it. I'm not the guy. I don't want to be the guy. I don't want the responsibility. Say that. Say it with your full chest. I'm not the guy. Please don't rely on me in this way. I'm so sorry. The best I can do is be a streamer. Say that. But he won't. So he wants the credit of being the biggest streamer, the person who's doing the most, and he wants none of the responsibility of doing the most. Okay? Just say it with your full chest. So, okay, this is recent. This was posted a month ago. Okay? This is just me showing you why I think at the end of the day, these boys are just here to have fun and fuck with everybody. They're here to have fun and fuck with each other and in their own way feel like they're doing something. So again, I want to give Hasan his flowers. I want to give Beyonce her flowers. And I want to say, okay, and now what? Right? Okay, now what? Are you going to do something with it or no, you're just going to, okay, cool.
Like for me, there's a little bit of a, there's a better argument here.
He's talking about Hasan. I'm sorry. Hasan is talking about debating Asmin, and they're talking about him, Destiny, and Asmin have been doing this three-way triangle thing where like Destiny, Asmin, and Hasan have all been like, debate me. And everyone's like, well, avoiding debates and everyone's talking about debate. Why would these three talk to each other? Why would Hasan want to talk to Asmin? Why would Destiny need to talk to Asmin? All of them are just trying to become more popular and do ridiculous things. Asmin being one of the top political commentators is exactly what's wrong in the world. As I think Hasan being the top is also what's wrong with the world. Asmin and Hasan, the two largest political streamers. And you don't think that's a red fucking flag? That's the irony. How is that not the biggest red flag you have ever seen? Two white men at the top? Wow. How American.
Which for the record, I don't think Asmongold will talk to Destiny either. I don't think he'll talk to Destiny at all. And I do think that it would be productive overall if he even talked to Destiny. Let's be real. To be fair, I don't think that's the reason Asmin isn't talking to him. No, the reason why Asmongold is not talking to Destiny or myself is the same exact reason. Okay? It's the same exact reason. He doesn't want to have this conversation because he is genuinely terrified. Like actually terrified. He can try to present this as like I'm actually coming at this from the perspective of like, I don't want to platform people or whatever. But yeah, it's because he's unqualified, and it's fine to be unqualified. I wouldn't give a if he wasn't spreading such hateful narratives and actually misdirecting his audience. Examples that I've used in the past, obviously, revolve around the Mahmoud Khalil incident, right? When Mahmoud Khalil was apprehended, detained, and was slated to be deported, I said there was no legal basis to do this. Asmongold farmed that incident and kept claiming over and over again, yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. I said, you're wrong. This is a First Amendment violation.
No, see, chatter, you're being disingenuous. You said you think Hasan and Asmin are the same? What the fuck? No, but they are both white men. Cis straight white men at the top. And they are both millionaires. So they do have some things in common, but they are not the same. Like every white man isn't the same as another white man. Being a white man isn't a monolithic experience, but they are still both at the top. So don't even try me. Okay? Len, welcome to memberships. Happy to have you here.
Violation clear cut through and through. If the administration actually followed through on this would be a severe violation of the First Amendment, and he was wrong. That's just one example. There are a million examples of this every single day. Right? That's all it is. He doesn't want to look silly. He doesn't want to look like he's wrong. And that's why he'd rather talk about me to his audience instead of talking to me, where his audience can make up their own minds. It's actually also somewhat insincere. Like you're basically saying you don't trust your audience. You don't trust your own skill. You don't trust your own knowledge. And you don't really trust your audience to make up their own minds either. You have to.
Okay, chat says Hasan is on his way out. Now, I don't know if you're saying what I'm about to say. I think Hasan is tired. Just like I think Chelsea Fagan is tired. Because even coming from a leftist economic perspective, the financial diet, I've been noticing, I think everyone is tired and I'm just getting started, baby. And I'm not political, but I'm just getting started. I've been here 20 years and I'm just getting started now. Do you know what I'm saying? All these people are burning out. I'm saying, go take a nap because the content you're putting out is bad. You are putting out sloppy content because you're so tired. And we know Hasan does not take a break. Okay? Chelsea Fagan had the audacity. They just posted a 14-minute video on their finance channel that basically looked like it was taken with their iPhone. And they have 1 million subscribers. Like, girl, do not waste my time, my precious time on earth. Come on now. Come on. I know you guys are tired. Take a break and pass the mic. The fact that they're holding on to the mic so hard is a part of the problem. Pass it along. Not to me. I didn't ask for it. I don't want it. I'm a philosophy channel. I'm a philosophy girly. I don't want your microphones. Okay? I'm saying pass it along, though. You're tired.
To keep it compact. And before Destiny says, oh, Hasan, you do the same thing. Brother, with the exception of talking to someone like Destiny, I do actually talk to right-wing commentators with regular frequency. You've just lied to your audience and claimed.
Yeah, which is bullshit. Why in the world are you talking to conservatives? Why are you talking to them? Hell, I'm not even talking to my own parents right now. Either make a stance and make it clear to people this is serious, or don't. I'm not saying you should stop talking to your parents, by the way, because like I'm testing mine. I'm giving my parents a chance to grow the fuck up. But I'm saying do something radical so they understand how serious it is, and then accept that they won't change because of it. Why are you talking to conservatives? What is your job that you need to talk and promote and support? Because I know conservatives. I was born a conservative. They will use Hasan. They are using him. They benefit. He doesn't. The left never benefits from collaborating with Nazis. Only the Nazi benefits. It's only them who benefits always, forever.
That I don't do that. I talk to right-wingers all the time. I do not shy away from the open discourse. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to talk to this right-winger right now.
He try to bully you into talking to them, so you give them a platform.
He would rather debate a clip of yours as he's doing right now. Let's see what he's doing. Let's see.
See the obsession? Why is Hasan so eager to talk to Asmin? Now, I understand back in the day, I think we were all pretty good faith with Asmin years ago, myself included, Hasan included. But now Asmin is lost. He's so lost. I can't believe we gave him a chance to begin with. But doesn't Hasan see this as a part of giving him a chance? Now Hasan is validating him. Now Asmin has so many clips to show Hasan wants to debate me. Hasan wants to debate me. Asmin Gold is absolutely in the back of his head gagging and vomiting and laughing at how easy it is to make so much money off Hasan's name. And Hasan, in some ways, I would hate to think is doing the same thing, but come on now. What are you doing? Why are you validating Asmin by saying, let me debate you? Are you debating serious people or not? Oh, so no, Asmin is worth the debate. So you're not debating serious people. You're here for fun. Make it make sense. Your debate partners are a reflection of you as a whole. Who you choose to debate with, I think, is a reflection of your content and your seriousness in the matter. Why are you debating? Why do you even want to debate Asmin Gold? It doesn't make any sense.
So I was on Instagram, and so people are they said my 2026 gonna be like, and they're making fan cam edits of AI generated montages of Jeffrey Epstein out on like, ski boats on an island with a bunch of rich friends and stuff like that. And like, they're actually trying to create an aura for Jeffrey Epstein.
I think he's just farming. He must be just farming like the people that are looking for anti-Hasan clips, because he's not even talking about me in this situation. Let's see what he said before.
Oh, so did he use Hasan's name in the clip just to get people to click on it? And then Hasan clicked on it and he can't even find the section he's talking about himself in? Oh, Asmin Gold listen, when I research somebody, I really go into it. Asmin Gold is notorious for professionally trolling, for professionally utilizing space, for always making as much money as possible. He's a radical capitalist. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Why are you even engaging?
Or look at Hasan meat riding Asmin Gold for the 300th day in a row. Does it feel like the walls are closing in a little bit? Hasan says the walls are closing in for Asmin Gold after his Minnesota childcare coverage. Does it feel like the walls are closing in a little bit on your daddy? They're K-pop stands. At least K-pop artists are hot. You're over here standing for this creature. Yeah. He has no argument. Yeah. That's why he just calls me ugly. When he calls me ugly, he's calling you ugly, chat. He's calling everybody ugly. He's just like that jock on your daddy.
What is this?
Look at Hasan meat riding Asmin Gold for the 300th day. He and his community will cut parts of your answer and turn it to his advantage. Bet. Yeah, I know. I don't give a shit. They do this every day. The reality of the matter is, it is pertinent. It is up to the individual. Okay. I have confidence not only in my worldview, but I also have confidence in the minds of all these people that tune in. Eventually, for every 10 people that tune in for more content, there's going to be like 3 people that will go, let me go see this for myself. Okay.
So what's the point then? Right? You see how I don't have to collab with Hasan to maybe get a couple Hasan people to see my perspective and maybe jump on board? If he really just wants to give Hasan viewers a chance to jump on board, it doesn't require a collaboration. But this is the point I want to make, because I think this is so important. So when I say like they're not very serious, and when I ask you, what is Hasan's like embodied beliefs? Like, I still don't get it, because I've been trying to understand, like, what do you do in your life that reflects your deeply held beliefs, right? Like an example is like overconsumption or animal cruelty, or like what is something that Hasan, it shows up in his life. So this is a stream that I saw a year ago when I was trying to watch Hasan a lot, and I was trying to see who he is and like if I wanted to vibe with him, if I wanted to watch him every day, if I wanted to put him in my rotation of people that I like enjoyed. And this stream just made me go, see, these people are liberals. Like, these people are liberals. These are liberals. Now, okay, actually, hold on, pause. Before I go into this, wait. Look what came up on my feed today. It's Austin in a thumbnail with a group of black men, and it says, I took my gay homie to the hood. You know this content is bullshit. This is the worst kind of content on this platform. This is a stereotypical liberal agenda, conservative agenda content that is always bad content. So I was like, who is this guy? I went onto his channel. His name is Your Rage, and he's literally collabing 2 weeks ago with Emaru. So everyone Hasan hangs out with regularly is always connected to everyone Asmon hangs out with regularly. That's my point. That's my fucking point. Okay? That's what I'm saying. What are we doing? Here's a part of the video. Like, what is the, you know what this content is. You know exactly what this content is. And look it, I used to love watching Fair and for Cinderella. For Austin and oh my God, why am I forgetting her name? Cutie Cinderella, right? I used to love watching it, but then their liberal takes just got so obnoxious. I was like, girls, you are so liberal. You are so liberal. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I like watching on occasion, but I get burnt out. I get burnt out on the liberalness of it.
Are you ready? Oh, see?
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know this bubble. You know the bubble of like taking the white gay guy to the hood. Wow, he has to hang around with black people. It's like, you know what this content is. Why a black guy goes into the most racist town in America. Like, you know that content. It's not good content. And it's not, I feel like a progressive person wouldn't make that content. You know, not like, maybe they would make it in like at the stage in their life where they're transitioning from liberal to progressive. But I feel like if you're truly, like at this stage right now, I certainly couldn't do it. You know? Just as how do you not like Austin? No, I like Austin the way you like your liberal family members. You know, I like them. I like Austin the way I like one of my brothers who like is a liberal. You know what I mean? Okay? Because I don't think you're giving a fair shake to what Rage was doing. I don't think it matters when the branding is exactly what is utilized in certain spaces. It's all, at the end of the day, it's about branding. At the end of the day, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know what this branding is. I know what it is. And it's meant to exploit stereotypes, to bring, quote, people together, but it isn't. It just comes at the expense of minorities, even if it feels like liberation, but that's my opinion. Okay, look at this video here. This was Nick. He was going through a divorce. You probably know his face. Okay. And just look at this shopping haul with Hasan. Okay, just like look at the shopping haul with Hasan for a little while. Just like watch it with me. There's 3 parts I want to show you.
With how much money these things cost. Like, you're not getting like
$10,000
worth of juice.
No, it's
because
it's like so let's go with luxury item. Illiterate. Maybe
so how much does it
maybe
really cost?
Quality.
$50
as an option.
Wait, are they hiding?
Do we have any size?
Oh, a ton.
46, maybe even 48.
A ton. I mean,
we can do this for
Convict.
What? I don't know why it doesn't say on it. Damn, this shit is free, I guess, if they don't have it on there.
Oh my God, dude, I'm gonna get my new clothes, dude. I get a couple shots of me. I'm gonna be on the
So Nick is getting back into the dating world. He's going through a divorce, and they're trying to take him shopping to improve his fit and his look. Okay, they're trying to get him a new fit to improve his aesthetic to meet the ladies, basically.
Oh, I like this one.
You're going on the town? Oh my God, it's going out in the town, yeah?
Are you? Simple.
Oh yeah.
Did you bring like your best outfits for this?
Absolutely
you already
not.
look nice.
This is what we had left in the house.
That's my standard though. Like, what's this? Is this a tank, dude? What is that?
This is a tank top.
Who makes that? Because that's dope.
Oh, it's Amazon.
Well, no.
Like, I literally got this on Amazon. It's like, I think $15 or something.
Okay, so there's something about that, right? Oh my God, I just got this on Amazon. It was like $15. So you shop at Amazon. So in one ways, he's like, I'm rich, but I only spent $15 on clothes. But you bought it from Amazon. Okay, got it. Like, that's fine. Okay? That's, okay, noted.
That's what.
So you're looking good in $15, and you brought me to $10,000 pants.
No, but the rest of the outfit, like the whole point is, you gotta get a good silhouette. Okay.
We got options.
The point of this.
This
outfit,
was in Thriller.
Yeah.
Maybe.
This was
So Nick just said, you know, you're talking about shopping at Amazon, but you bought me to a store with $10,000 pants, right?
It was a Thriller jacket.
It is. The whole point is that like it's.
Yeah, Chad says respectfully, these guys give such fuckboy energy. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, ladies. Can we please clock it? Can we please lock in? Can we please know exactly? Exactly. We know this aesthetic. Fashion is a choice, girl, and fashion is a statement. So what is this aesthetic choice?
It's a complimentary piece to everything else I'm wearing. You don't have to have everything be expensive.
I need something that like it can't be too like
We need to run it
because I get aroused easily.
Yeah.
So it has to be. I have to be able to like. It can't be like sweatpants.
Go tell that to him.
No, I need you to tell him that.
I'm not gonna tell him that.
No,
Just tell him you want a thicker. You tell him you want thicker
I was
fabric.
in the club at TwitchCon, rock hard.
Okay. Now they're talking about their like penises and how they show up through clothes. Okay. Next clip.
So when I saw it over there, I was like, oh, that's the name of the brand? I thought, so it says it's called Lydia One of a Kind. And so when I saw it over there, I was like, oh shit, there's only one of these? No.
It's $1,700, $1,795 for this piece of clothing. Because that Nick is a millionaire, he belongs there. Well, that's the thing. Like, again, when we have conversations around money and sustainability and how we show up in the world and what role we're playing, I'm not saying I haven't spent thousands of dollars on Amazon. I'm saying now that I'm at this stage in my life, I have to also walk the walk and say, I believe that if we keep deconstructing our relationship to a lot of the ways we exist in the world, people in the positions of privilege that Hasan are in, especially should not be shopping at Amazon. I don't shop on Amazon unless there is, in the last 12 months, we've shopped twice on Amazon, and it was for items that we either could not absolutely get or we're not rich enough to not see a $300 difference as a big deal. I don't have that kind of money. And if there's a $300 difference in savings, I have to shop at Amazon. We've done it twice in 12 months. But everything else, we either do not shop for or we shop somewhere else. The idea is to harm reduce, right? But like, we don't have the kind of money that says, oh, I can pay the $300 difference. But Hasan does. He does, right? And so if we ever had that kind of money, we would make those decisions. Okay?
There are officially two.
Okay, so there's this, and then here's the third clip. And this clip is the most important to me. So Nick had just paid. He just finished shopping for all the clothes. Okay, he had been like, everyone was just like, they kept talking about, oh my God, everything's so expensive. Everything's so expensive. But then here they are here. Okay, so then here he comes, Nick comes around the corner to say, I finished shopping. And then they want to know what the damage was, how much they spent.
You got him, Nick? What's the damage?
That's about $8,000.
Damn.
First of all, he said $8,000 and Hasan didn't even look. He didn't even react, right? Hasan didn't even nothing, right?
Bro, dude gets fucking.
It wasn't $8,000. It was, he literally threw out a crazy number to shock Hasan, and it wasn't even the real number. And Hasan didn't act shocked. $8,000?
It wasn't $8,000? Wait, really?
Wait, that's kind of not
That's
bad.
like surprising that.
So now they're excited that it was only $3,000. Like now they're like, oh, it's only $3,000? Wait, that's so surprising. What is this? Are these like, where does this store? Where do the items come from? Who makes them? Where do they come from? Whose hands were making them? I get it if you're telling me every single piece was made by your grandma who lives down the road and every single piece is custom made and so she deserves that money. But is this fast fashion? Whose store is this? Can someone tell me? You know what I mean? But I'm sitting here like, even so, even bragging on a vlog with a majority of people probably making 20 to 50K a year, talking about a $3,000 shopping haul, why is this even vlogged? Like, why are we even vlogging this while talking about anti-capitalism? Do you know what I'm saying? You know, shop in your private time and leave us out of it.
Listen, He could tell I was poor, so he gave me a.
He gave you a discount? He gave the homie hookup?
He could tell I was poor, so he gave me a discount.
Yeah, he went and got the cheapest items in the whole store. He said this guy can't hack it.
Bro, you just dropped 3 bills, brother. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking. Yeah, 3 bills. Let's see. How many subs do we get today?
Can I get help with belts?
he covered
I
it.
need like a black belt.
Yeah.
That's 36, 38,
I'm gonna
36.
go outside and make a phone call.
What?
What I love is that you're gonna be wearing
Western
your standard fair outfit
or
outside
more
of just
casual. I
one
mean, it doesn't
really
matter. I
cool
just need a black
outfit.
belt. It's this way.
If that one doesn't fit, I can't poke in the hole and I have like an actual.
Like, I get it. I do. Right? I'm not saying there aren't exceptions to rules. I'm saying I don't get what the belief is. I don't get the belief. Like, I don't get the value. I don't understand the morals. I don't see where you stand ethically. Like, I don't get this whole video. This whole video is so confusing. Like, why does it exist? Why am I seeing this? Why did I even come across it? This is what turned me off to Hasan the most. This video. Where I'm like, this is not attractive to me. This is not good. You know what I mean? And what's worse is they're making money, right? Because chat's like, oh, it's just to make money. Well, that's the irony, right? So now they're streaming, and while you're paying them to watch, so that's why Nick went, oh, how many subs did we get today after he just dropped 3K? Because that's what he's doing with the money. And I'm not saying he can't do that with his own money. We all get to do what we want with our money, but I'm saying like that's what's happening. Stream is watching them, and they're making money, and then they're going to go spend that money. They're going to go spend 8K could be like 8K is like a third of people's yearly salary. You know what I mean? Like it could be 50% of someone's salary. So I'm just saying, like, I don't understand what the point of this video is, and how does this work when it comes to walking the walk? Like, again, I think there can be exceptions. Absolutely, there can be exceptions in which buying high-priced items could make sense. But I'm pretty anti-overconsumption at this point in my life. I'm not a fan of Pokimane. I have a whole video on my podcast channel about Pokimane bragging about buying all of her friends' luxury items as if this is a brag. This is not good. Pokimane doing diamond hauls is not progressive. It's not good. It's not even, take the word progressive out of it. It's not good. It's not good for the planet. It's not good for people. It's not good for her friends. It's not good for anybody. You're limited time on Earth and you're buying $20,000 diamond necklaces. What are we doing? I get it. I get it. When I was in the lean-in bubble, when I was a liberal, when I was a capitalist, when I was like watching Samantha from Sex and the City, I was like, I'm going to buy myself a Birkin. I get it. I get it. But that was 10 years ago, you know? That was 10 years ago. So what are we doing now? So I have to say these things. Hasan has to do what he has to do, and I got to say what I got to say. Okay? And I'm saying, I don't think this is good for people. I'm not saying he's an evil person. I'm saying he's philosophically disjointed. I don't know what his actual stance is on any of these things. I don't know how this plays into progressive thinking. I don't understand how this relates to, and look, he's a meat eater. So we haven't even started to broach the topic about plant-based eating or animal cruelty or anything else, right? Like there's so many topics for us to all ask ourselves. And I'm not making a prescription. I'm not saying you have to be vegan. I'm not saying you have to be progressive. I'm not saying you have to be anything. I'm saying, what I look for in a progressive leftist voice is somebody who, to the best of their ability, is reasonable no matter how rich they get in what they purchase and how they exist in the world. I am looking for somebody, who is definitely coming from maybe a different perspective, but I get it. Now, statistically, when men make money, they hoard it or spend it on themselves. And when women make money, they tend to uplift communities in a very direct way. And I just think, as much as good as Hasan does, I'm not convinced it matters when his personal life or his personal aesthetic or his personal actions feel contradictory to that help. If he's only doing the help so you guys don't criticize the fact that he just didn't say anything about $3,000, do you know what I'm saying? Then I'm not into it, right? Chet says, how is that contrary to progressive thinking? His money didn't come from a factory. His point is that you don't have to be a monk to be progressive. In my mind, I'm going to take you as so good faith. In my mind, progressive is also part of philosophical progression, which means to progress past the need to even think one needs these types of aesthetic clothing choices, these types of items, these types of high purchase. Like, you don't, if you deconstruct from capitalism, and if you deconstruct from a very particular bubble, then the result should be not spending money this way. You would think, at least, you would think that the end of coming to this point is not to make a stream to all of these people who are suffering in this economy. This was just last year, right? About dropping $3K on something. Okay, it kind of feels like, look, I'm in the part of the internet that says, like, we don't want to see your fancy houses right now. We don't want to see your fancy clothes. We don't want to see your fucking hauls. We don't want to see that you spend $50K on makeup. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see it. And it feels like Hasan would almost fit into that bubble. Not that bubble I'm talking about, but the other one. It feels like he's this away from just becoming a spend 10K today. And I'm saying, why are we doing this? You know, like, why is this the follow through of your belief? It's kind of like, you know, the way Hasan says he's a Muslim. You're not a Muslim. Do you pray 5 times a day and go to mosque? Are you a Muslim? Is your girlfriend a Muslim? Are you guys going to raise your babies Muslim? You're not a Muslim. Okay? It's like you want the title without any of the responsibility. Same thing with Christians that are like, I'm a Christian. You're not a Christian. You don't go to church. You don't adhere to Jesus' scripture. You don't follow the 10 Commandments. You're not a Christian. Like, you want the label with none of the responsibility. Chat says she's just saying, what is his values if his values against capitalism? Why stream luxury clothing? Exactly. Why stream luxury clothing? Which we know 100%, like, and look, maybe I'm misunderstanding this shop. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the store. Maybe, let's see, did they link the store somewhere? Maybe I'm just misunderstanding what is this store. Is that the problem? Is someone going to tell me all of these items are actually made by, like, you know, someone's mother, and this is actually like feeding a family of 10? You know? Like, what is it? I can't figure it out. I'm looking for details, but I'm not seeing a detail. You know? I just think it's interesting. You know? Chaz says, bro, he grew up Muslim. He said so many times, like, he's culturally Muslim because of his background. He openly says he doesn't practice. Okay. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in cultural Christian, cultural Muslim. I don't believe in it. Richard Dawkins does this. Richard Dawkins says, I'm an atheist who's against Christianity, but I'm culturally Christian because I hate Muslims. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the concept. I think it's a bad way to view the world. If you want to engage in cultural things, okay, then then you wouldn't have to say it. But Hasan uses the whole, do you hate me? I'm a Muslim thing all the time. He used it against those MAGA parents he should not have platformed, right? The necessary conversation folk, he should not have talked to those people. He should not have platformed their hateful ideas. And he said, I'm a Muslim, do you hate me? See how he's weaponizing? I don't understand how you don't understand that I'm interested in deconstructing these expectations. No cultural Christianity, no cultural Islam, no cultural nothing. Deconstruct these patriarchal customs from your life and reconstruct them in a way that doesn't rely on adhering to these words that uplift this patriarchal standard. Okay? I understand. But I'm saying, for me personally, it feels unnecessary. You know? Discord said shops Amazon so he stays relatable but buys luxury brands to be aspirational and pedestal. There is no moral or ethical standard embodied, just branding. That's what it feels like, but I don't know. What I would like to know, somebody answer the question. You know? Okay? Chad says in school we learned about progressive Judaism and Orthodox Judaism. Is it not the same with those other Abrahamic religions? No. See, you can't say, okay, white girl to me when Hasan and I are the same kind of white. Do you know what I'm saying? You can. I'm going to block you. You're not allowed to weaponize my whiteness against me when Hasan and I are the same kind of white. He looks exactly like my brother. That's what I'm saying. See how I'm just a white woman, but Hassan is a Muslim man? I'm just a white lady, even though my family's from Iraq and we're Assyrian, but Hassan is all of a sudden not a white man. This is patriarchy. This is patriarchy. And that's what I'm saying. We're both white and we're both the same exact kind of white. Both of our families speak Arabic. Both of our families come from a place that is considered terrorist. Both of our families have to deal with shit. Okay. But when I say something, and I'm saying that's why Hassan as a brand, I can't get fully on board because I see too much misogyny, right? Because he doesn't hate anybody, though. He just says it's his identity. It tells someone how somebody grew up in their background. I just don't think he weaponizes it at all. Jazz says, I think his family speaks Turkish, but go off. Doesn't he speak Arabic? I swear he spoke Arabic with people on stream. Either way, I think it, again, see, this is it. Chat says it's not your place to question someone's religion. Keep it to politics. No. That's where you guys are misunderstanding this. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? Why do you let people continue to use words as a point of something, but not the other? Why do you let them utilize words? Why do you think his religion doesn't matter? That's because you're protecting patriarchal religions. You are protecting patriarchy. Do you know what I'm saying? He was speaking Turkish. Okay, we love a Turkish king. We love a Turkish king, okay? Do you know what I'm saying? That says, I think when people call him a terrorist and Islamic fundamentalist, it's pretty safe to say they're referring to him being a Muslim. They're referring to the fact that he was raised a Muslim. And so what Hassan does as a counter is he says, I am a Muslim. Instead of saying, no Muslim should be attacked this way, which I know he does say, but when he says, I am a Muslim, well, you're not a Muslim. You're not a practicing Muslim, which means you're not a Muslim. My Catholic family does this. Do you know my Catholic family tells the kids I'm a Catholic, even though I'm not a Catholic? Because they say once a Catholic, always a Catholic. Your patriarchal religions will not be uplifted in my name. And the fact that Hassan is allowing his name to be uplifting, being a Muslim, is the point. You can't be anti-patriarchy and pro-Islam or pro-Catholicism or pro-patriarchy. You have to be, if you're anti-patriarchy, be anti-patriarchy and tackle Islamophobia. Tackle Islamophobia. No Islamophobia allowed. But patriarchy, not a thing. You know? And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, how can you sit in one side of your mouth and talk about being anti? And I get it. He's always battling people. But I'm saying that's kind of my point. What is your belief when you're not always on the defense? And how does that show up in your daily life? Okay? That's my point. Okay? And you can make the decision about, it's cool when he does it, it's fine when you do it. I'm saying, I don't believe this. I think it's not helpful. Right? Okay? Chet says he's a former Muslim, but like you are a former Catholic, but Hassan shields behind it in a way you don't. That's what it feels like. You know? Chet says once a Muslim, always a Muslim, though, Brit. Well, only because you believe in the construct. It's a made-up religion. God isn't real. It's not real. No, not once a Muslim, always a Muslim. No, not once always a Catholic, once always a Catholic. That's only if you believe in the construct. That's only if you adhere to it, thus propping it up as real, thus validating it. I do not validate patriarchy no matter the form it comes in, but I will fight against discrimination and I will fight people who attack Muslims. Okay? And I'm saying you can't pick and choose what variation of patriarchy you decided works for you. Just like you can't pick and choose what form of racism is okay. Just like you can't pick and choose what form of homophobia is okay. Not that you cannot pick and choose these things. No racism, no homophobia, no transphobia, no Islamophobia, no patriarchy. That's it. You say you're sick of Gavin Newsom, but see how all of a sudden we're cool with patriarchy? So you say you want someone who will get up there and say, none of this is allowed, and not understand that means none of your family's religions are allowed. I know billions of people on this planet are patriarchal, they believe in patriarchal religions. Most of the people on this planet are transphobic and homophobic. We can stop people from discriminating, and we can hold people to a higher standard. What do you mean you want a candidate that isn't going to play nice with systems when you're doing it slightly over here socially? You are doing it socially. That's what I'm saying. Okay? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying either do something about it or just say, I'm going to tolerate this level of patriarchy or homophobia or transphobia in my life. Because I know for a fact there's no way Hassan's family is generally left. And if they are, that would be quite interesting. Because how are they Muslims and part of patriarchal religions? And you know what I mean? Because if his family is anything like my family, there is a lot of transphobia and homophobia. And maybe he's the exception. And when I say family, I mean extended family, everybody. Okay? So when he sits there and goes, I'm a Muslim, that would be like if I got up here and I said, oh, I was a Catholic. I'm not a Catholic. I want nothing to do with that. Thank you. I want absolutely no branding. I am a former Catholic. I was raised Catholic. I am not a Catholic. On principle, I could never be a Catholic. Don't even. But he doesn't do that. He goes, oh, I'm a Muslim. Of course you are. Of course he is. Because there's no backlash for a man adapt or bragging about being a part of a patriarchal structure. But how would it not be hypocritical of me as a intersectional feminist, as somebody who's more left, if I got up here and said, oh, I'm a Catholic? What do you mean you're a Catholic? The same Catholic Church that protected all those predators? What do you mean you're a Catholic? How hypocritical would that be? No. And yet, and just a reminder, we might be anti-patriarchal religions, but no Islamophobia can be tolerated. You cannot be anti-Islam and pro-Christianity. You can't. So all those Christians that are like, yeah, Islam sucks. No. You be quiet. Okay? No. Because I also believe he identifies as a Muslim, so he could be a representation for Muslim communities. But at the end, it's very surface level. But what bad representation is that? What representation is it that he is? A non-practicing Muslim? He might as well be Sneeko. You know, Sneeko also says he's a Muslim. Andrew Tate says he's a Muslim. These are bad representations of Islam, or maybe they're perfect representations of Islam. I'll leave it to Islam or Muslims in general, leaders, to say, But let's be real. All three of these men say they're Muslim. So make it make sense, okay? From a progressive lens, makes it make sense. And no, I don't believe in feminist Muslims. And no, I don't believe in progressive Muslims. I don't believe in progressive Catholics either. And I don't believe in LGBTQ people going to progressive churches. Anything. I don't believe in progressive Christians. I don't think any of those things exist. I think they're a cope because you haven't deconstructed religion and you still need a place to go to on Sundays, but I don't think they exist. And I think it's a cope. So when I hear people say, oh, I'm a progressive Christian, girl, come back later. Okay? So just FYI. Just as Britt, your original question was, if he isn't a Muslim, why does he say he is? Okay, and he's not a Muslim. If you don't believe it, you don't practice it, you don't show up as, you're not. Just like you're not vegan if you're sneaking honey. You're not vegan if you're sneaking some pork on Taco Tuesday. You're not a vegan if you're not. You might say you are, but on this definition of, you're not. Okay? Now, you might say you are. You can make the argument that, oh, I'm going to say I am this thing, though, and I'm going to do this thing, and then we can talk about it. But in my opinion, no. Okay? Chad said, what is a good Muslim? I don't know. Ask a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I don't know what a good Muslim is. You know what I mean? You know? He says it as a reply to Islamophobia. Yes, but at the expense of who? If you own patriarchal religions to fight Islamophobia, you are throwing women and marginalized people under the bus. You are throwing women under the bus who are more progressive. You're throwing queer people under the bus. You cannot support patriarchal religions that are anti the fundamental values of leftist people and then say, oh, you're doing it to combat Islamophobia. I combat Islamophobia and I don't need to identify as a Muslim. Okay? You cannot choose to defend this thing by identifying with this thing and then say, oh, but it's just to combat this thing. No. In my opinion, no. You can disagree, but I'm right. And I say it now. Oh my God, girl, hold on. I say this now because I want there to be I want to say this now because I think it's going to be even more clear in 5 to 10 years. Because remember, I'll still be here. But 2, I'm saying it now because I think it's true and I think I'm right. Okay? Right? Ted says you have a lot to say about what a bad Muslim is. What's a good one? No, see, what are you doing? You're not listening to me. I already told you. I have the same standard for what a bad Muslim is as I have the same standard for what a bad Christian is or a bad progressive is. Walk the walk or get the fuck out my chat. Walk the walk or I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear all these Catholic men talk about, I'm a good Catholic man, but this teenager just seduced me. I'm a good Muslim, but I just can't handle it. Pork is so good. I'm a good vegan. I just can't help slaughtering chickens on Tuesday. I don't want to hear it. No. Absolutely not. Okay? Why are you saying all religions are anti-left? Sounds really uninformed and you're stereotyping all religions. I specifically said patriarchal religions, but if you want to listen better, you can. Patriarchal religions are absolutely contradictory to leftist perspectives. Okay? Yeah, chat says fill in Muslim with any religion or group or philosophy. Exactly. Walk the walk or move aside. Okay? That's it. Walk the walk or move aside. Okay? That's it. Okay? Now, if he comes out tomorrow and says, guys, I'm a full practicing Muslim, then we should absolutely discount him as a leftist voice. Because how is a leftist progressive voice who says they care about queer people or marginalized folks turning around and becoming a Muslim, which was Malcolm X's greatest sin? That was his greatest sin, being a Muslim. Because at the end of the day, it comes at the expense of women and marginalized communities. Because as much as I love Muslim people and I love my family who is Catholic, their religion is my Catholic religion is 100% it's like 95% of the reason there's so much harm in the universe. There's so much abuse, so much cruelty that happens in the name of religion. And even more than that, in the way we grow up psychologically speaking, the way we see ourselves, the way we view ourselves, the way we love ourselves, the way we validate ourselves. It's your religion. It's causing so much harm. And until you're really ready to talk about it, we're not going to get there. I know. I want to protect Muslim people. I want to protect everybody. But you won't let me protect you without burning me in the process. And still, I will fight for you to be protected legally. See how I will go out of my way to protect religious people legally, but they won't do the same for me? Because according to them, I'm sinning and going to hell. And they're right and I'm wrong. Right? But still, as you tell me I am a sinner and I'm wrong, I will fight for your rights. I'm not a Richard Dawkins. I'm not one of these white atheist boys who says, oh, fuck Islam then. No. Protect Muslims. Protect Muslims as they sit here and vote against your civil rights. Protect Catholics as they sit here and, protect religious rights. Okay? But at the end of the day, I'm not excited that you are uplifting patriarchal religions. And I will never, 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 never be able to, in good conscience, show up on my stream and say, I'm an intersectional feminist, I am a progressive, I want to be left of whatever left is, and sit here and say that patriarchy has a place in a liberated society. Okay? Right? But I love Malcolm's work. I like some of Hassan's work for sure. I like so many people's work. I like so many people who happen to be Muslim. But I look at them and I think, man, you really can't. Even the most liberal, even the most leftist, they still cling to their patriarchy, don't they? They want to pick and choose what parts of it work for them. They want the community and they want to follow some of the rules, but not all of the rules. And I'm saying I wish people would just admit, because progressives do this all the time and the liberals do this all the time about their Christianity. Oh, Brittany, don't you think Jesus, though, would have loved gay people? No. Don't you think Jesus would have? No. You believe a man named Jesus walked the earth and rose from the dead and was born of a Virgin Mary? Don't talk to me about what Jesus would like. You believe in the myth of a man called Jesus who rose from the dead, girl. Stop. Stop talking to me and try to convince me that your magic stuff is real. I respect you. I respect you as a person. I don't respect your religion. And I value you enough to protect your rights. I hope you do the same when it comes down to it. For me and everybody else who's marginalized. Okay? That's it. But no, I can't sit here and compromise my values around patriarchy just because you're a great person. I know you're a great person. Just like some of my family members who are MAGA are so fucking lovable. But at the end of the day, they're bigoted. And patriarchal religions are bigoted institutions that some of them hold and are eagerly trying to gain more power. If Christian nationalism is so scary, and you know it's so scary, then why would you talk about being a progressive Christian? What is that? You know? What does that mean? Okay, what do you think it really means if you really think about it? It's like saying there's progressive white supremacy. No. Is there progressive white supremacy I don't know about? I don't think so. But see, when it comes to marginalized folks who are women or who are gay, maybe we'll make exceptions. Maybe patriarchy is not so bad. Maybe we could work with it. Maybe, no. I don't think so. All right, that's my rant. Let me end with this note. And this is where I'm at. Because this is my person. I'm an Alok fan. Alok is a non-binary trans activist in the more philosophical, spiritual, stand-up comedian bubble. They're very successful in their own right, but they do not get the same traction as other people because ultimately it doesn't make good content, because, Alok isn't debating Asmongold, apparently.
Many people are living life as if there's a carrot dangling on a string, continually told that if they just climb the tree, then they will experience the sweetness, but the tree bears no fruit. Work so that you can be promised on the other side rest, relaxation, heaven even. But what I believe is that heaven is a practice, not a promise. And I believe that it is possible to make heaven here on earth now. The reason that many of the people that I love and many of the people that I am are targeted is because we're heaven making now. And that is profoundly uncomfortable to an entire consciousness and citizenry that has been fed the deliberate lie that they must wait. Many people.
Yeah, I'm not going to wait. I find Alok so refreshing and aligned with so many of my beliefs. I'm here. Whatever this is, I'm in this bubble. Okay? This is where I want people to go. I want you to liberate yourself from all of those things. And remember, Alok is very different than this. Okay? And we should know the difference. If you do not know the difference, that just reinforces my point that we are a reflection of the world as a whole, and we are not ready. We're not ready, and that's okay. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for not being ready. It's really hard to get there. So be kind to yourself through the process and recognize that humans are going to human. And that's why the world is the way that it is. It's us.